Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
Tony, we want to send out some special thanks to some very special people that have been helping make Wrestling Insiders happen. You have Brandon Stone in Algona, Iowa. He had the Jake the Snake t-shirt bundle. Craig Fratta, Denver, Colorado, got an autographed print. Frank Riley of West Long Branch, New Jersey, the Undisputed Era autographed poster. Robert Brown of Nashua, New Hampshire. He's one of the heavy hitters. He's a big help to what we do, Tony. He got autographed posters of Finn Balor and Adam Cole. Joshua Kraft of Akron, Ohio, got the Oscar WrestleMania 35 photo. Summer Robbins of La Puente, California, the Sasha Banks WrestleMania 36 autograph photo. Sasha Banks autograph photo. And then, Tony, I know we were talking about this one before we went on the air. Mary Barrow of Montclair, New Jersey. She got the Braun Strowman autograph poster, not for herself, but for her niece Jackie, who was celebrating a very happy birthday. So we got to send Jackie a big happy birthday shout out.
Happy birthday, Jackie.
Jackie, happy birthday from a WWE Hall of Famer. All of the people we just mentioned have been getting, as you see on this set, we have such a great array of merchandise, autographed photos, autographed posters. We got Tony's artwork. We're going to be talking about that. We've got DVDs. We've got so much more on eBay. If you check out something on the eBay store that you know you really like, contact us, because if you set up something with us using PayPal off of eBay, eBay doesn't take a big cut, not only of the sale, but for some reason, eBay takes a percentage of what the shipping and handling costs. I don't want to bore you too much talking about it, Tony, but also want to point out, fans, we're going to have a great tribute to the man, the Ugandan Giant Kamala. But as you see right here, we have this 11 by 17 print of Tony's original drawing of Kamala, autographed by Tony. We only have one right now. Maybe for Christmas time we might have a few more. But if you're a big Kamala fan and you want more than just a print, Tony, I want you to show off this yourself. That you personally drew this up at your house in Auburn, Maine. That is the original drawing of the Ugandan Giant Kamala by Mr. USA Tony Atlas. I know Tony's good. This came out even better than I could have imagined. Kamala sat in this very studio where Tony is sitting right now. It was one of the most emotional interviews we've ever done. Kamala is a deep man, I guess is one way you could describe it. And how great would that look on in your wrestling fan cave? If you're a great fan of WWF wrestling, world-class wrestling. Kamala competed around the world. He had a very tough end to life. We've been trying to raise funds to help his GoFundMe, to help with his funeral and wake expenses, and, you know, afterlife expenses. Even when we pass away, there are still costs that go along with the end of life, Tony. And I have to tell you, you did a beautiful, that's one of the best drawings I've ever seen you do. You put a lot of time into it.
Thank you.
All right, wrestling fans, right now, we're going to take a brief time out. When we come back, a brand new Wrestling Insiders is up next.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Hi, wrestling fans. I'm Dan Marty along with
Mr. USA Tony Atlas.
Tony, we had a question from a great fan down in Jacksonville, Florida. Singer extraordinaire, Adrian Nelson. Tony, he wants to know, what do you think about a man whose family you're very tight with, Roman Reigns finally turning heel in WWE, which a lot of fans wanted for a long time?
Oh, did you just stump me with that one?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I think it's an interesting fresh coat of paint from Roman. A lot of people aren't big Roman fans. I think Roman is fantastic. And I think this new look for Roman and pairing him with Paul Heyman, I think it adds a lot of freshness and a lot of excitement to the SmackDown show.
I see things differently.
All right, I want to hear it, brother.
How can you turn a person heel when in the WWE There is no heels. There's no baby face. What is going to make him different? Just say he's a bad guy now, just the words? Nothing going to change in the matches. Nothing going to change in his appearance. Nothing's going to change. They're all heels. They're all heels. How many people out there like people that brag on themselves and put other people down? That's a heel. That's not a baby face. I mean, it ain't no such thing as heel baby face no more. So change it, telling the people that this person heel, this person baby face, it don't mean diddly squat to the fans. They like Roman Reigns no matter what position they put him in. As much as I like John Cena, one of the biggest baby before they call him baby face, but I never seen an arrogant baby face. I just, that ain't what we call a baby face.
Not a traditional baby face.
It's not a traditional baby face. And he ain't gonna be no traditional heel. What he gonna do in his match that the baby faces don't do?
Well, I think you know what.
You can't tell the difference between the two. Nobody know who's good and who's bad.
I don't know if you'll agree, but I think the one thing that misses from most traditional heels nowadays is the amount of cheating that they do. Everybody seems more worried about spots
They all do
than
the same
cheating.
thing. They all do the same thing. They all cheat. They all kick in the groin. They all do the same thing. You can't tell the difference between a heel and baby. You watch any WWE match, you watch any AEW match, you tell me who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. You can't tell anymore because the good guys will not get over being good. Nobody want to see a good guy no more. They like the heel. So what Vince did, he got, it's in the middle. Everybody's in the middle. There ain't no left, there ain't no right. It's all independent.
No black and white.
No black and white, no left, no right. It's all down the middle. You know. So that's why it's so hard to determine who's a heel and who's a babyface, because they both go out with the same talk, the same move, the same everything. It's not, when you see one WWE match, you've seen them all. It's just one repetition after another. So just by saying he's a heel, I don't see it, because he started off as a heel with the Shield. The Shield. I mean, that was great. Their biggest mistake with the Shield was breaking it up. They was great as a threesome. Now they separate. They pushing Seth Rollins like crazy. He don't have the sting he had when he was with the Shield. The other guy went to AEW. He don't have the sting that he had when he was with the Shield. And Roman Reigns do not have the sting he had. The same thing you take to get something, it takes the same thing to keep it. If he want to make something out of it, put Raymond Road, put all three back to where you had it, because that's how they got over. It's kind of like Axe and Demolition. Once they became Axe and Demolition, one without the other didn't mean nothing. The War Warrior, once you got them established as the War Warrior, having Axe one place, having Hawk one place, didn't work. Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas, once they separate us, it didn't work. Same thing with me and Tommy Rich. Once you develop something as a group, it's like a marriage. When I go somewhere, my wife's not with me, the first people ask me, well, where's your wife? I mean, all you out here that married, when you go somewhere, stop what people always ask you, where's your wife? Where's your husband? How your wife doing? How your husband doing? Because he got known as a group.
It's kind of like Vicente Rey Wasco, who you wrestled in Melrose's breasts. When you see one, you expect the other.
You expect the other.
Yeah.
And they will develop as a team. That's what developed them the way they are. Like, I hate to say it, Tom Brady is never going to do good again in football. He's a patriot. He don't even look right wearing another uniform. Every time you take a quarterback, leave one team that he's been with for years, and go to another team, he's the shits.
It's like Joe Montana and the
Same
Chiefs.
thing.
He had a couple of good years, but not as successful as he was.
Brett Favre when he left Green Bay. After that, it's done.
Yeah.
So they've been trying to put Roman Reigns somewhere for years and years and years, because they decided, someone in the office decided, oh, let's break up the team. The team is hot. People love them. It was freaking great. I mean, they was great. What are they going to do to overshadow that image? You can't.
Well, I think with Roman, whether people believe it was a success or a failure, in the absence of John Cena, Roman became the face of that company. Do you think, Tony, where Roman has become the face of the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
I learned this from
some
J.J. Dillon.
Okay, let's hear it.
I asked J.J. Dillon, I said, why did they get rid of, because he was in the office at the time, why did they get rid of Saba Simba? And you kept Undertaker. He said, Undertaker at the time was unknown. He was not established. You was too well established. You take Hulk Hogan. Once Hulk Hogan left the WWE, it could no longer use the name Hulk Hogan. Wherever he went, he never had the same spark. Even though he had a name, he didn't have that same spark he had when he was with the WWE, because when he went to WCW, that ain't what they fell in love with. Hollywood Hogan is not what got him over. So Hollywood Hogan, and that's one of the biggest wrestling stars in this century, was Hulk Hogan. There's been no star bigger than Hulk Hogan in this century that I know of, in the 20th century that I know of. But once he stopped try to be Hollywood Hogan, didn't work for him. Hulk Hogan, the reality show guy, didn't work for him. Nothing worked for him because he was too well known as WWE World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. That's what he is known as. It's kind of like taking Santa Claus after all these years and gonna make him into one of them elves. It ain't gonna work.
That's kind of funny.
He's almost established that people know him as Santa Claus. That's Santa Claus. You can say, no, that's the Easter Bunny all you want. The people say, wait a minute now. I've been watching him years of being Santa Claus. Now you're going to try to tell me he's the Easter Bunny? Go screw yourself, they're going to tell you. And that's why in my day, doing stuff like that, it's called insulting the people intelligent.
You can use the same phrase in 2020.
You're insulting the people intelligent. You think the people, when the people start to like something, that people don't want you to get rid of what they like.
Good job, Tony.
You can't be switching people man back and forth and tell them, once they started liking something, why did Dusty Rhodes became such a legend for so many years? He never changed who he was. Remember I said this millions of times. They always taking people, and people in America, we as Americans, and I'm sure everybody out here agree with that, we tired of being lied to. We want something we could believe in again. We believe we had a strong belief in our country. We believe that we were the best country in the history of the world, the United States of America. Then all of a sudden the politicians come along and started taking away that belief system. Then all of a sudden the corporate America came along. You know, when you go buy the hamburger, you see the picture. Oh, the freaking hamburger looked great, all nice and thick and everything. The lettuce hanging off, the tomatoes hanging off. Then you go buy the damn thing. And you get this big old piece of white doughy ass bread, a little piece of hamburger meat the size of a sheet of paper, one slice of lettuce, one pickle, and one slice of tomato. But it don't look nothing. How many times you go in the store, have you anybody out there ever bought a sandwich that looked like the picture? We are tired of all that. They tell you these are the best shoes in the world, the best car in the world, the best this in the world. You buy it, a year later, you wish you'd never seen it. We be disappointed, and that's what is hurting wrestling right now, because they're taking away what people want to believe in. You gotta, once you get something established, leave it like that. Don't keep trying to change it and make it into something that is not. Them writers is writing the strip all the time. When I was back there with Mark Henry, one of the things that I was never able to be Tony Atlas with the WWE. With the WWF, I was able to be Tony Atlas. WWE, I had to go by what some little 20-year-old kid that just graduated from college perceived me to be.
Right.
He don't even know my name. He never talked to me, never had a conversation with me.
Your history?
Nothing, know nothing about me. But he gonna be the one that write for what I'm gonna say. And you know, my speech ain't all that good.
I don't believe that to be true for a second.
They told me, this is what they told me. And Mark Henry, everybody started laughing. Shelter had tears in his eyes, laughing about, Tony, we want you to, you're going to be the manager now. We want you to talk sophisticated, educated, sophisticated. We want you to talk like Barack Obama. I said, what the fuck did you say? Yeah, I would have really got out there and sounded like Obama with this old hillbilly ass accent, man. They try to make take a hillbilly from the hills of Virginia and turn him into a goddamn city slicker. And then they wonder, well, how come that didn't work? They're going to get a guy that is half Scottish and half black, put him in an African suit, and going to try to tell the people all of a sudden he's African. And they've been watching me for 10, 15 years as Tony Atlas.
As Mr. USA.
As Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. All of a sudden, they're just going to go put a skirt on me and freaking head batted on me, and then they're going to try to make me something else. Why did Ronnie Piper, up until his last days here on Earth, was so popular? Because Ronnie Piper always was Ronnie Piper. Stone Cold Steve Austin. They never tried to change Stone. His thing got over in the nannies. In the 90s, he got over as a big superstar in wrestling. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Very good friend of mine. Hi, Steve. Love you, brother. They never changed him. They never tried to make Stone Cold Steve Austin into, let's say, the boogeyman. Yeah. Or turn him into something that he's not. Undertaker. That should be a lesson right there to him. This guy been the Undertaker for 30 years. They didn't have to change it. What if they tried a couple of times? They made him with the motorcycle, make him a biker or something. It sucked.
It became a mid-carder.
It wasn't him. As soon as he go back to the Undertaker, boom.
Main events.
Main event again. That is what they want. They don't say Vince say his main goal is supply and demand. That used to be his main goal. He's not thinking about what the people want. Because if he thought for 1 minute what the people want, his show wouldn't be the shits anymore.
Let me ask you this.
The people don't want to see it. I'll tell you, I don't know if he's listening up, the thing that all wrestling fans hate about the WWE, all wrestling fans I ever talk to everywhere, is all them damn interviews. Yeah. I mean, I remember one guy told me he's a stone wrestling fan. And I went to watch TV. His name is Ed Robbins. So we watched it because he loved wrestling. He's crazy about wrestling, And he sat there and cursed for 30 minutes. Show me a freaking match. I want to see a freaking match. He's doing this for 35 to 40 minutes, hollering and screaming at the TV. He said, oh, I got to stop watching this damn wrestling. He gets so upset watching it. It upsets you. You have to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And then just before a match, we'll be right back. Right after these words for our sponsors. Then they showed the word for the sponsor. Then they started the match. You watched about 2 or 3 minutes of the match. Then you get a little box right here to watch and a commercial over here. What the freaking hell? How can you there on prime time? I'll change and look at Gunsmoke. Yeah. That's why Gunsmoke becoming so popular again. Yeah. Because you want to watch a western, you can watch the action, you can watch it. You don't have to listen to 101. I bet you, try this one day, Dan. I will. Try this. Get a piece of paper. Write down on Monday Night Raw how many minutes is donated to a wrestling match and how many minutes donated to commercials and interviews. I guarantee you'll be lucky. Time it out, yeah. You'll be lucky in 3 hours to get 1 hour of wrestling in 3 hours. You be lucky. Now, all you fans out there that listen to us right now, I want y'all to do the same thing. Time how much time of wrestling you get and how much time the microphone and commercial add up. In 3 hours, you'll be lucky to get 45 minutes of wrestling. Lucky. All right. 3 hours.
Tony, I got to reel you back in a little bit.
Reel me in, baby.
I think this is great discussion.
You got the hook. Got the hook.
If you're one of the suits in Connecticut, do you think you run a risk of alienating anyone by giving the face of the company, Roman Reigns, the guy that is Mr. Make-A-Wish now? He's probably outside of The Fiend, the top-selling merchandise guy. You're giving him a new attitude. You're giving him Paul Heyman as a heel. Are you worried that you're risking running some of the kids away from him?
No.
Who is this now? Big call. Tommy Rich? Johnny Weaver?
No, the guy just worked for him.
Oh, all right.
But he knew I was doing that. But no, you see, they got to leave him. If they're going to do that, leave him there. But I don't know how they're going to do that.
Would you present him, at least attempt to present him as a baby or a heel if you were WWE?
There ain't no such thing as a babyface of the heel. Not to the fans.
Let me ask you this.
To me and you, yes. To the fans, no.
Would you have kept him as he was before he took his sabbatical?
I would have double separated the seal.
Well, we know the Shield separation did happen. Would you have kept him as the Roman he was before coronavirus, or the way they're presenting him now with Paul Heyman?
He can't interview.
Which way would you go with him if you were the booker?
I would get another guy that is built like him, that is dressed like him, and put him in a tag team, kind of like Ole Anderson and Gene Anderson.
You think Roman should be a tag team guy?
Yeah, because he can't talk. He can't get himself over. If you can't talk on a microphone, you can't get yourself over. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, all your great stars.
John Cena was good on the mic.
John Cena was good on the mic. You have to be able to sell your product. I could have the best product in the world, but if I don't know how to sell it, there's nobody to sell it for him, because you got writers that write what his people going to say. They won't let Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns.
Can Paul Heyman sell Roman Reigns now that he's his manager?
No, Paul Heyman overshot it. That's why Brock never got nowhere.
Because of Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman was the show. He was the show.
Do you think Paul Heyman will take away from Roman?
Of course he will.
Really?
Of course he will. This guy, he's pretty much a mute.
I think Roman is...
There was a tag team that they called the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Yep, the Andersons.
Gene and Ole Anderson. It started off with Lars Anderson and Gene Anderson, and Ole was the new addition to the thing in the early 70s. Where Ole was so good on the microphone that when they wrestled, even though he was a rookie, the people didn't want to see Gene. They didn't want to see Lars Anderson. All they wanted to see was Ole, because he was the man that sold the program. That's why Vince McMahon is so fantastic, because Vince is better on the mic than Triple H is. He better on the mic than Shane. He better on the mic than Stephanie. They have nobody in that office that is as good on the mic as Vince McMahon. He's fantastic on the mic. He knows how to sell a product. You could take, like, even a politician, if you don't know how to reach the voters, you're not going to get elected. Roman can't talk. He's a hell of a wrestler, a hell of an athlete, and a wonderful, wonderful person. But you give him that microphone, he becomes Joe Biden.
Well, I don't think they'd call him Sleepy Roman.
Pretty close.
All right.
I mean,
I think Roman is at his best on the microphone, almost like Batman when he speaks in short spurts and he's angry and he's intense.
Yeah,
when you give him a 20-minute, promo,
it's no fire. See, the
20-minute promo is no
I'll give you an idea. I'll give you an idea.
Right, shoot, brother.
Okay. Listen here, boy. I jump down your throat and beat the hell out of you right now. Don't you mess with me. You come over and mess with me. I'm WWE Hall of Famer Tony Arden. Who the hell you think you are anyway?
And I think that's great.
Roma, this is Roman Reigns. I'm mad right now. I'm so mad. You can see how mad I am. I kidding?
I thought he kind of...
I mean, the expression, the facial expression is not there. He's not a talker. No matter how much you try to push it, he's not a talker. That's why they were so good as a seal. Because they had someone that was good on the mic, and each person had their own thing. That everybody can't do everything.
Right.
Everybody can't do everything. Unfortunately for him, he's not that good. He's a quiet man.
And that's why I think it works with his skills. If you have him speak in short, angry, intense sound bites, I think he's very effective.
But you don't miss one thing. Nothing changed. The tone don't change.
I think if they went that route with him, it would. He cut a great promo on Goldberg here in Boston, leading into WrestleMania. That was very effective. Very effective.
What I'm trying to say, it's like this. Nothing changed.
You're not necessarily wrong.
The tone, the facial expression, is the same as when he's not mad.
You make a great point about the facials.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Nothing changed. You can't see it. You can't feel it.
All right. Well, Tony.
Like, I'll give you a prime example. You could be sitting across the street at your house. A guy could be across the street from you, and he pissed off. Can't you tell it?
Yeah.
You could tell this guy is pissed off. You don't know when this guy's mad or not. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. In the ring, yes, yes. But once you put the mic there, I don't care if he's angry, if he's happy, if he's sad, if he's horny, if he's thirsty, it's the same. And that's why it's hard. Because people's lives are like this. Nobody's life is like this. So when you talk, you have to talk according to how people live their life. You have to have your down spiral. I'll give you a prime example what I'm talking about. I was doing an interview one time with this wrestler, and I was just going at it. I'm going to give you the wrestler, let's hear him at. And you this, you dirty low-down dog, blah, 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 blah. The promoter said, cut, 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 cut. I said, Tony, you never wrestled him before. What have he done to you? I said, nothing. He said, well, if you holler and scream now, and then all of a sudden the guy do something to you, we shoot anger, your holler and screaming ain't gonna mean nothing then.
How much angry are you gonna get?
You're doing it now, so when if he do something to me, I get angry, it don't mean nothing to the people because they saw me doing this when he didn't do nothing for me. Talk normally when nothing happened, show excitement when something do happen, is what the promoter taught me. And I'm not knocking nobody, what I'm saying is what I've been taught over the years, because we didn't have the hype that they have now. We have to be what they call workers. And what a worker is what you do, try to make it look as real as possible. Well, normally, you know, I'm talking like this. This is normally. But if all of a sudden, you know, I said, Dan, you know, thank you for the nice Christmas present, everything you gave me and everything. Then all of a sudden I get mad at you. I say, hey, Dan, I'm so mad at you right now. I don't know what to do. I am mad, Dan. Where's the difference?
Right. Yeah.
There's no difference.
Makes sense.
There's no emotion going into it. He know how to put the emotion into the ring. In the ring, he know how to be emotional and put that into the ring, into the match. Right. But then when it comes to the microphone, and they put Paul Heyman with him, what's going to end up happening is Paul Smart, Paul going to become Lou Albano. That's why Lou Albano could have Ken Patero this year. He could have the Samoan this year. He could have Mr. Fuji this year because none of them was more popular than Lou Albano. He stole the show every night. And the only thing Paul Heyman is doing is using Raymond Rose to make Paul Heyman. Where would Brock Lesnar been right now if it wasn't for Paul Heyman? Brock didn't get over, not as much as they wanted him to be. He never reached the status of Hulk Hogan or John Cena. Never did. Never got to where John Cena was. Never got to where Hulk Hogan was. Never got to where Stone Cold Steve Austin was. But where did Paul Heyman go? Paul Heyman rose to the top. And he carried Brock Lesnar along with him.
Good point.
That's his chauffeur, his valet, more likely. Paul Heyman was the show.
All right, Tony.
Once Paul Heyman left
music,
that,
we got about 30 seconds, baby.
Once Paul Heyman left that, love you fans. Stay strong.
No, we gotta go to the commercial break.
Commercial break, baby. Be right back.
Finish your point.
We'll come back and hear more.
All right, we'll be back after this brief timeout, fans. Stand by. Fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders. Dan Marati, the Hall of Fame, and Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. It's Tuesday night. It's 9 o'clock. All you great fans watching
I'm excited. It's Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. I don't know what to do, Dan. What do I got to do?
We got the super chat going, baby. Hit that gray button like J.A. Will, like Slick Rick, Tony's neighbor up in Maine, like Stoney, Tina, Tania, whatever name you're going by today, like Maria, Trigger Trey. Everybody's here joining us, Tony.
Stormy Daniels.
I don't know about Stormy Daniels. I don't know. All right, well.
Okay.
All
Hello.
right, Tony, we talked a little bit about Roman Reigns. We got more questions from the fans about what's going on in WWE right now. They want to know, Tony, what do you think the future of Brock Lesnar is now that he's a free agent? Will he return to WWE? Will he go to UFC for a couple of big money fights? Will he go and try and work Tony Khan of AEW, who has big money behind him?
Hollywood, hook up with Dwayne Johnson and go make movies.
You think Brock Lesnar is going to go make movies?
He should.
Why is that?
Because he's at that stage now.
I don't think he's got the personality for Hollywood.
Oh, yeah,
Tony.
they found something for Brock. Brock would make like horror movies and stuff like that, you know. No, I'm serious because, you know, he just got this big, mean, rugged, I'll rip your head off and crap down your throat look to him. And he needs to be with people that is going to promote him the way he is. You know, Paul Heyman is a very, very intelligent man. Mm-hmm. And Paul Heyman is never going to let any wrestler become bigger than Paul Heyman, because once they do, they don't need Paul.
Right.
Paul gonna keep himself in a position where they always gonna need him, and he gonna be like Captain Lou Albano. I mean, look at all the people that Captain Lou Albano managed. People, they don't remember who he managed, but they remember Captain, because Captain is the guy that put all the attention on him. With Paul Heyman get through, you ever read puppets? You know, we set a puppet on your knee. We put a puppet on your knee.
We have one. His name is Zach Tringali.
Yeah. Paul Heyman is the puppet master, and Brock Lesnar with that little puppet set on the knee. People don't even know what his voice sounds like. Can he talk?
Who, Lesnar?
Yeah.
He's not a very good promo, which is why it's been so effective, that combination.
What does his voice sound like? See my point?
Not much.
If you talk to him on the phone, you wouldn't even know it's him. Paul Heyman wore the show. Paul wore the show. Paul is bigger than anybody he managed. And he's not going to bring Roman Reigns up. Roman Reigns going to boost Paul Heyman up more. It was the same thing with Captain Lou Albano. That's why one of the reasons why Vince got rid of these managers in the first place. They were bigger than the wrestler. When you look back at the old WWF, all your managers, Freddie Blassie, the Wizard, Captain Lou Albano, were bigger names than anybody they ever managed. And the guy never really grew. Ken Patera never became a big star in the WWE, and they took him away from them. And they teamed him up with John Studd. That's when he became a name. They had to get him away from the managers.
I don't think I told you this, Tony, but did you know we had a power outage in the middle of an episode we did with Marty Jannetty?
I did that one time.
We had a thunderstorm and the whole studio went out.
Yeah, I did that one time during sex. I had a power outage.
That's probably happened more than once.
Yeah, my power went out.
Yeah.
And about 30 seconds into it, my power went out.
Well,
I told my wife I didn't eat good that day. That's a good excuse. You got to use that one sometime.
Tony, I got to tell you this. UFC right now, it's a very interesting place for them. They're like WWE. They've cut out the cable company as the middleman, taking half of their pay-per-view revenue. Every dollar that's spent on a UFC pay-per-view is going to the company. For them to spend obscene money on Brock Lesnar, they don't have to make up as many buys because the cable company isn't getting half of the pie. Could Lesnar walk into UFC, perhaps work someone like John Jones, and get a $5 to $10 million payoff for one night's work?
He's too old now.
He's only a couple of years older than me, brother.
He's too old for that.
Am I too old for UFC?
Yeah. Me and you both, brother.
I was too old coming out of the womb for UFC.
40 what? He's 40 what?
I think he's 43.
Yeah, they're too old now. Them young kids will eat his lunch.
But he'd still draw.
He said draw.
He would draw.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would be a very good fight.
No. He put it, leave on top. That would happen with Ali and all the old timers try to come back and try to do what they did when they were young. You know, he done that. He don't need to do that. Brock Lesnar should do like Hogan. Hogan was the smartest wrestler I ever met, him and The Rock. The Rock got out when the getting was good. If Brock Lesnar could get him a contract with any movie theater, yes, they could do. The movie could do him better than wrestler, because what the movie's going to do, they're going to write scripts that he fit. Mm-hmm. The WWE ain't never written anything that he, you know, they have him come out and they want you to pay to see him. But, you know, and all he do is just do a couple of suplex. He never did nothing to really get himself popular. You look at when Brock Lesnar would come down the aisle. He's standing there. First, they would have Heenan, whatever his name is.
Bobby Heenan.
No, we just got through talking to
Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman to talk for 15 minutes. All Paul Heyman. And then Brock come out and stand. And Paul Heyman talk for another 10 minutes. That's the writers. That's not Brock Lesnar. As long as he got writers to tell him how to be and what to do, he would never, that's why he don't reach that status. See, Hogan had a little leeway in his day. Stone Cold had a little leeway. Brock don't have no leeway. I know that for a fact. Every move in the ring had to be written down before you do it. They get there early and practice what they're going to do before the night. That's why everything looks so choreographed. There's no instinct. See, what makes things look real in a real fight is not choreographed. It's all by instinct. When I was wrestling, I wrestled by instinct. I remember we had your show, a couple of the wrestlers came to me, Tony, what do you want to do? And I tell them to finish. And I watched their face like, they're waiting for me to tell them the match. I said, brother, we do the match in the ring. You know, I said, we're not, you got to work with the people. I could be working a headlock, the people love it. So I stopped doing what the people love to do what I got planned in the room.
Right.
That's why you notice the matches, they start off big, but at the end of every match,
it flattens a little.
It flattens because they're not listening to the people. They're not giving the public what they want. They're not working the crowd.
They're not working
with the crowd.
Pieces of paper.
Right. They're going by what they got planned. And they trying to get the people to come along with their plan. That's not the idea. The idea is for you to work with the people to give the fans what they want, not what some little college kid, 20-year-old college kid done written down the night before. You don't know, and you can't do the same thing in everywhere you go.
No.
I could go to New York, have a great match. People in New York love it. Oh, what a match. What the best match I've ever seen in my life, Tony. Fantastic, you great. Go to Richmond, Virginia, do the exact same match. What the hell is going on out there? They're not the same people. That's what makes our country so wonderful. I was in Cairo, Egypt. And over here in America, you have to come off the top rope, you have to do moonsault, you have to do all of that to get a response out of the people. That's what you have to do. Over there, a body slam, yay. A hip toss, yay. And if you throw a punch or something, one punch, the people get pissed off. It's not supposed to be. Here in America, if you don't throw a punch, it's boring. Because we used to a lot of punches, a lot of kicking, a lot of this, a lot of everything. They want to see just a straight wrestling match. You could go overseas in some places and do nothing but wrestle, and the people would go nuts. But that's what they want. It may not be what the wrestler want. See, these wrestlers want to go out and do what they want. They're not concerned about what the people want. Like when I was with Mark Henry, they want me to manage Mark Henry. Every letter or email I got back when I had my email, they want to see me and Mark Henry fight. They was asking me, even though I was much older than Mark Henry, who's the stronger between you and Mark Henry?
They wanted to see a blow-off to the tension between the two of you.
Yeah. They never gave it to them. See? Because that ain't what they want.
Right.
And what the people want didn't mean nothing.
Right.
You understand? When they got rid of Saba Simba, I was watching some of the tape. The little kids were doing the Saba Simba dance.
They like doing the dance.
The people like Saba Simba.
Yeah.
The office didn't. See, once you started doing what you want and forgetting about who's paying the bills, you know, every penny that John Cena, every penny that Tony Atlas, every penny that Hulk Hogan got came from the fans. Well, now the sponsors help out a lot too. Yeah. So now they're not thinking about the fans because they don't need the fans' money no more because they got that big sponsor money. It's kind of like they become a politician. They don't care what the people want no more. All they care about what the lobbyists want. So if you with a big corporation, that's right. If you with a big corporation and you go to either party, Democrat or Republican, slap a couple of $100, $1,000 bills, or a couple of million now, on their desk, oh, I'm your man, baby. Bought, paid, and sold right then and there. Well, this poor lady coming in and said, well, you know, we live in Maine and we need heat assistance, or we need to create more jobs in the state of Maine. Well, hey, okay, I'll get to that later. I got to take care of this right here because this guy just laid $20 million on my, he put $20 million on my campaign. You could donate to my campaign over here.
Well, you want to talk about campaign finance, Tony. Isn't it interesting that WWE had no place to really go to run television tapings back when the coronavirus broke out, and then the super PAC that was involved with Linda McMahon promised to spend $18 million in Tampa and Orlando, and all of a sudden there were TV tapings at the Performance Center down in Florida. Yeah?
But see, but what is happening to the product, in the product, they're only concentrating on where their money comes from.
Right.
They're not concentrating on the fans. They're not concentrating on the fan. The fan is the last thing the last person to think about the wrestling fans was Vince McMahon Jr. He gave the fans what they wanted in the nannies. And that's what made him what he is now. Because the fans were number one with Vince McMahon Jr. Vince Sr., the fans was number one. Jim Barnett, the fans was number one. And as long as you make the fans number one and give the fans what they want, not what you or some little 20-year-old high school kid written out, you know, overnight, you know, and try to present to the fan, give them what they want. If I get a bunch of fans that say, hey, I don't want to see Tony Atlas manage Mark Henry, I want to see him fight Mark Henry. And then when they do give me a match, they give me a little 130-pound kid and write out the match for it and made me and the kid look stupid and made himself look stupid. Because people are talking about, well, Tony Atlas could press slam these little ass and throw them into the third row. You know, if they were going to put somebody against me, they should have put Sheamus against me. Or they should have done a match with me and Fit Finlay. But somebody, you know, where I could have a match with. You wouldn't have booked Evan Bourne and Tony Atlas. You wouldn't do it. You said, shit, Tony, you know, it's too big. You know, it don't look right. It look like an ant trying to fuck an elephant.
All right, Tony, I got to throw out the fishing line, baby. I got to try and reel you back in. AEW, it has continued to surprise a lot of people. It's done very well on TNT. Apparently, they're going to have a second weekly show now, which means more income for the company. Do you think someone like Brock Lesnar would give AEW more credibility if they could afford him?
No.
Why is that?
Because he's Vince's. That's why.
Well, Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose has given AEW some credibility.
It ain't the same Jericho. Jericho is able to be Jericho. Jericho was never Jericho with Vince.
All right, fair enough.
Look at him.
Fair enough.
Does that look like the same Jericho to you?
No.
See, he's able to be himself. That's why all these guys left. They got tired of the writers telling them how to be. Look at that guy, the other guy that went there. He was part of the Shield there, Earl.
Dean Ambrose.
Look at him now. Is he the same guy? No.
He's done well for himself in AEW.
Because he's able to do what he want to do out there. Let the talent do what you pay them to do.
Be creative.
Let them. It's in all of us. Everybody got this creative, got this thing in them. And when they do it, it's not fake. That's why Cody left. Cody is better now than he was there because now he could be Cody.
Could Brock Lesnar be better in AEW than he was in WWE?
If they let him be Brock.
Maybe.
Yeah. I always said that. I even told Mark Henry, and Mark Henry, if you ever talk to him, tell you the same thing. I said, boy, this guy could draw them a lot of money if they let Mark Henry be Mark Henry.
Right.
They would never let him. They wanted Mark Henry to be something he wasn't. That's why he never got to where he could have been, because everything is scripted. And when they create a character for it, I don't think they're really interested in wrestling no more. I think they're using WWE to train wrestlers for movies and commercials. That they slowly
assessment.
I think they're slowly moving into the movie industry. And they want to make wrestling into, I don't think they want wrestling no more. I really don't think that they're interested in wrestling more. I think what that wrestling is a stepping stone into something there. Because I remember years ago when Vince first started, he used to talk to me a lot. He don't remember, but I do. Because I'm the last thing on this man. And we just sat and talk all the time. And he used to tell me all these ideas he had. And I remember the old timer like George the Animal Steel, Chief J. Strongbow said, oh, well, a goofy idea, going to kill the business, because Vince always, to him, wrestling is his father business.
Right.
It's his father business. When he had a TNT, he started a talk show back in the 90s. He was making the Ivans, the movie industry. He tried to make movies, try to put bodybuilding, try to branch off into bodybuilding. Remember that? Football, remember the football?
Yep.
Try to branch off into football. He always wanted to use wrestling to jump into something. But what he always really wanted to do is to be Johnny Carson.
Let me ask you this, Tony. We're running out of time here on this episode. If you were Tony Khan, you had the money he has.
Who is Tony Khan?
He owns AEW, and they own the Jacksonville Jaguars football team.
Never heard of him.
Well, he's the owner of that company. Would you invest big money in Lesnar if you could afford him? I think it would generate a lot of buzz for the company.
It's hard to say, brother.
It's hard to say.
I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. You know, they thought that when they brought Hogan to WCW. That's what they thought.
And they had a great run for a couple of years.
Yeah, but they didn't do what they wanted to do. When the TNT, was it TNA or TNA at the time when he was down there?
Hogan was in TNA, yeah.
Yeah, TNA.
He didn't have that magic in TNA, that's for sure.
No. You see, because he never got over with Vince, because the guy stole all the thunder. His manager stole the thunder.
Yeah.
You don't put a manager out there that is better than your talent. That was the problem with me and Mark Henry. You don't put a manager out there that is in better shape than a wrestler. Don't make sense.
Fair enough, Tony. We're running out of time on this great episode. Again, folks, if you're watching the premiere on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, which we hope you are, you should be, we have that super chat going below the interaction we're having on the right side of your screen, whether you're Slick Rick, Maria, Tina, J.A., Will, Jan from the Netherlands, and everybody else. Hit it, give us a tip, buy us a drink. Oh, my God, you can't show that on camera. Oh, my God. Again, Tony is with us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Marty Jannetty is taking us on a no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll trip through the 80s and 90s. Yeah, right. On Thursdays at 9 p.m., Tony gave us the big news that apparently John Cena Sr. is going to be returning for a weekly show this fall, which is about as much fun as vomiting in your mouth. We got so much going on here.
You stop. I like him.
Him with a piece.
I like John Cena Sr.
What about the piece?
I like his son, too.
What about his piece?
What piece?
Peace.
Peace.
The one on the top of his head.
Oh, you stop that.
Right. For the whole of...
I'm somebody to talk about somebody here. You know, I got a lot of room to talk.
Well, you know what? Maybe Johnny's piece could warm you up. You'd look like
Shrek.
It almost looks like that hat that Nikolai Volkov used to wear.
I'm going to get me one of them.
All right. Don't forget, fans, the Patreon is active. Get early ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider shows. Stream dozens of studio shoot interview DVDs, all while helping keep professional wrestling legends like Tony, Marty, Brutus working at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. It costs about as much as a cup of coffee over at Starbucks. And to play Vanna White, we have this great merchandise available on eBay. If you see anything you really like, send us an email. If we can sell it off of eBay, eBay doesn't get that big cut, and we can do more to keep wrestling legends working. Isn't that a great system, Tony?
Fantastic.
Let's keep the vets working.
Keep it going, baby.
For the Hall of Fame of Miss USA, Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marati. He didn't even wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
You know how old I am now?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dan. Happy birthday to you.
4 decades of Dan Marati. Did you ever think you'd see it?
Yes.
I was 13 when I met you.
Thanks, Dan.
Wrestling fans, until we see you next time, be well, stay healthy. Good night.